Young fellow. Aha, beautiful drop kick. Did not take him off his feet, and that time, Humongous was ahead of him. And so he took some steam out of Lancaster. Man, caught him with that lariat. Well, maybe the thoughts that I had are not going to prevail because Humongous is very, very quickly taking control of this entire situation.
But could be you were thinking it's quite a lucrative evening for Mr. Lancaster.
Hey, he was off his feet. Ooh. He was off his feet, but Lancaster went straight through those ropes. And Lancaster is up. Caught from behind. Oh, brother. Rammed him full force into that steel ring rope. Now, those were cheap shots. And there again is...
Quite a bit of problems for Lancaster, coupled with the fact the guardrail a moment ago, and then Humongous takes him into the steel post. It's amazing this man can get back in the ring.
Well, I'll tell you something, and I watched Frankie grow up. Watched him as an athlete in high school, watched him when he went overseas. He served in Vietnam. Came back. He told me before he left that his one aim in life was to become a top-notch professional wrestler, and I'll tell you, as far as I'm concerned, he is in the process of doing that right now. Full power slam by Humongous on Lancaster. Lancaster rolls to one side. I don't know whether you could technically say that he took him off his feet there.
No, not at all, because that was the part of Humongous. Lancaster just one step ahead of him in that situation.
Lancaster up on that second ring rope, pounding away at the head of Humongous, and then downtown Bruno interfered. And it's Lancaster trying to catch up to Bruno, and that's where, well, he's made a mistake here. He has made a mistake here. Diverting his attention. Tough break. A tough break. Had he not...
Weighing in at 255 pounds, Carl Styles.
Dream. Demolition. And Bruno trying to get the referee a long way. He has really developed himself into a... You've got three fellas after you all.
That's right. The stud stable has been hot after us, and we've been hot after them at the same time. Well, we got a man right here in the ring. If you look at him, he ain't no wimp. You can see right there he's got some good-sized Tennessee toothpicks on him hanging off his sleeve there. And he matches up with me and Tracy real good. We're about the same height and same weight, all three of us. So we might be able to put some triple team in here in our repertoire real soon with old Frankie Lancaster. We're going to take care of some business with him.
All right, Lancaster in the blue trunks, stalking his man easily now. Lancaster has really matured in the sport. There's no question about that. Collar and elbow, outbowls his man, no question about that. And
Gordon, but I tell you that Frankie, he's a heck of an athlete, and I think he's in for a heap of trouble. They call him the Thumper.
Hip lock takedown. Lancaster finally spins him off, but he's caught with a shoulder smash. Good leapfrog by Lancaster. Drops down to the canvas once again. Another good leapfrog. Catches his man. Right there. The Scorpion almost made it back to his feet. However, and Lancaster catches him again. Beautiful wing over takedown. Into an inside armbar.
Well, Gordon, I'm glad to see Frankie in the area right now. What an athlete. That looked great right there. The man has got great ability, great leaping ability. You know, that the stud stable, Frankie's our partner in a few six-man tags. You know, everybody saw what they did to Wildcat Wendell Cooley. Come out here, jumped him. Dutch Mantell first hurt his knee in the figure-4 leg lock. Wendell's fighting back from that, and what do they do? All three of them jump on him. But I tell you what, Wildcat's a tough man. He's going to come back, but I am very glad to see this man right up here doing his thing. He's a definitely good addition.
And back to the canvas, and so the Scorpion, who fights back extremely well. And good move by Lancaster. Moves in swiftly enough. Lock his man in. Keeping him tied up. And it is Lancaster continuing to put the pressure on him.
You can see Frankie's very well versed in professional wrestling and all the moves and everything. But just a minute ago, you saw him slap that man right across the face and knocked him plumb out the ring. Well, that's what we like about Frankie, is he's not afraid to mix it up and get in there and fight fire with fire, as they say, and dish it out as well as take it. He's always ready. And the Southern couldn't help the other day. He's taking a little time off right now, you know, just kicking back and working out and everything. Yeah, another good friend of mine, the Bullet, is in the area. Has been in the area for a while now. So, you know, it's all in the family there, Gordon.
In a manner of speaking, I would assume that's kind of correct, too. Yeah, no question about it. Lancaster keeping his man tied up now once again. Sort of a modified variation of a bottom wrist lock up into a top wrist lock now. And Lancaster keeps the pressure on him. Of course, if he can take away the strength of that left arm, it takes away a good point of balance and attack. Scorpion catches him, shoulder smash, Lancaster. Leapfrogs, catches his man, hip toss. Lancaster with a drop kick that caught him under the chin.
What action, huh, Gordon? You know, I'd like to talk about that stud stable just a minute. You know, it's no doubt that they are tough men. They've held the Continental title more. We're guys that go to the gym. The only time I think the stud stable goes to the gym, if they do go to the gym, they drive by it. I don't.
You're right, Gordon. They've had those titles, and it just seems like, you know, every time we've been beat by them, there's always been some type of third element involved.
One knee, Lancaster. He's up to what, about 240 now?
Yeah, he looks every bit of 240.
You know, Gordon, like you said, you can't beat experience, but I think hard work and enthusiasm makes up for a lot right there. Oh, gosh, there's a cheap shot right there.
And Lancaster could be in trouble.
First from Tampa, Florida, weighing in at 236 pounds, here's Frankie Lane. And his partner, also from Tampa, Florida, weighing in at 210 pounds, here's Del Apollo. And their opponents to my left, first from the Great Smoky Mountains, weighing in at 224 pounds, here's Blue Thunder. And his partner from Honolulu, Hawaii, weighing in at 245 pounds, Prince Iakea. One fall, television time remaining.
You know, I've seen Hector Guerrero out here. He thinks he's Judge Wapner or something, you know, the boot of justice.
Well, if anybody has reason and ability to return some injustice, it would be Hector Guerrero. And, well, Prince Iakea establishing a strong advantage in the very beginning of the match with a back suplex on young Del Apollo. However, Del Apollo in with a wing over against the bigger Prince Iakea, who is now applying shots to the jaw and neck area of Del Apollo and has him up in a full body slam. Tags out to Blue Thunder. Blue Thunder coming in, applying a top deep half on to Del Apollo, who blocked it with a near leg front cross. And now Del Apollo has taken advantage with a front transfer, and I think Blue Thunder may try to sit through there. However, it was on too deep and strong.
I've never seen a haircut like that in my life. He used, you know, I mean, what is it supposed to stand for? You know, Coach Pierce?
Well, he has 3 stripes of hair going through his head, representing the 3 donuts that you still have on your microphone. And a deep half and an inside cradle when he captured that far leg and near leg, the near leg with the arm, far leg with the leg. However, Blue Thunder still too strong this early in the match to hold into that pinning combination. Frankie Lane is now tagging in, and a side headlock swiftly put on Blue Thunder, and Blue Thunder down in a lockout position. Lots of wrestling action coming your way into the Ocala area on October the 31st. And to the people in Melbourne, you'll be seeing the NWA return there on October 30th. And of course, on Friday, November the 1st, into the Fort Myers Arena. And a deep half, a whip over by young Del Apollo onto Blue Thunder, who wisely tags out to the bigger Prince Iakea, the man from Honolulu, Hawaii. And I believe his dad was the notorious King Curtis. And it looks like he's taking some of the tactics and traits of his dad. Strong arm whip into the ropes by Prince Iakea of young Del Apollo. And as he came off, a hard clothesline, and he could be pinned right here. Somewhere, Del Apollo reached down with enough resource and strength to pull himself out of that position. a deep half, whipped over in a high vertical suplex by Prince Iaukea, and Del Apollo in a lot of trouble.
You know, I've called you different names. You sitting there, you've been picking on me the whole show. I've called you Coach Pierce. You're not even listening to what I'm saying. I'm not getting any respect from you, Coach Heath. Well, listen, I'll give you respect if you give me respect. I think it's jealousy. I think you're picking on me because I'm undefeated. I think you're picking on me because you know I really weigh 217 pounds. Everybody's against me, and everybody's against Kevin Sullivan. Everybody's against Maya Singh. Everybody's against the Cuban assassin. Well, I'll tell you what. All these films and all these things, everything's going to come to a head, and justice will become justice. Blackjack Mulligan, Kendall Windham, you're going to pay the price. Barry Windham, you've been sticking your nose where it don't belong, and it's all going to come down some city, some state, somewhere, and the Playboy, Kevin Sullivan, Maya Singh, the Cuban assassin will all prevail, and so will Prince Iaukea.
Right. And a deep half employed by Del Apollo onto Blue Thunder, and again in a threatening position. And yes, I'll notify Rodney Dangerfield that his twin brother is in our area right now, getting no respect. He was 217. Maybe we should call you Rodney. I don't know if anybody who has not given you the respect that is due to you, and I believe you have been defeated, Mr. Buddy Rose, by one Tyree Pride, who now wears the belt that you formerly had.
I kicked out on the count of 2. Bill Alfonso, the referee, did not count 3. Prejudiced referee, and the people went crazy.
A strong rear chin lock with a double clasp by Prince Iaukea onto young Del Apollo. Lots of action in this ring, and Del Apollo is giving a good account of himself, even though he is the smaller of the 4 men. Just whipped into the ropes. I was hoping you would hold on him, possibly go for a double leg crucifix against Iaukea. However, Iaukea too strong. Iaukea manhandling Del Apollo over into the corner, and now Blue Thunder has Del Apollo, and a nice hip toss there by Blue Thunder. A very high, strong hip toss. Del Apollo with a side headlock, and our program and time is winding down to a rapid close. And in behalf of Buddy Rose and all those of the United States Class Wrestling, whoa, a strong clothesline, and Frankie Lane has pinned Blue Thunder, and they have a winner in young Del Apollo and Frankie Lane. And for all those connected with the United States Class Wrestling, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you once.
Elbow jump, superstar to break. Introducing to my right from 10.
Lancaster, 1 ball at 10-minute time limit.
Australian tag team event now. El Cid and the Masked Assassin going up against Frankie the Thumper Lancaster and the world junior heavyweight champion Tyree Pride, the Haitian sensation. Tyree will be back in action in Nassau on the 17th at Nassau Stadium. Our good friend Charlie Majors. Good moves by Frankie the Thumper Lancaster. Lancaster really on top of the situation. Makes the tag now with Tyree Pride.
Johnny Ace coming to you live.
Under control. El Cid, however, is a tremendously well-built athlete. Can't see with that mask, and so didn't make that tag. And Frankie the Thumper Lancaster might be battling him away from that corner. Not able to get over and make that tag. Now the tag is made. And the assassin moves in, and suddenly Thumper is facing 2 men. El Cid moves out. The watching for Florida champion Thumper Lancaster moving in. He's got the assassin and an Irish whip. Caught him coming off the ropes very nicely with a flying drop kick. Mickey J down there to toll the count, but the assassin powered out before the count. Overhooks the head, brings him up again, high vertical suplex. Up that second rope, and that scores the pinfall. El Cid started to come in, but Frankie the Thumper Lancaster cut him off at the pass.
Of United States Class Wrestling, I see out there Jim Backlund in the Blue Universal going up against Coca Samoa. Of course, Jim Backlund, as you know, won the Florida State High School Wrestling Championship for the 189-pounders in 1983 at Plant City. However, he was caught off balance by Coco Samoa, who did a fine spin under takedown. Didn't hold him down, though, to get those points that he would have gotten in an amateur match. However, the effectiveness of that stunning blow onto the back had some percussion effect on Backlund, and they say Backlund out trying to arm drag with Coco in. However, it was reversed, and the effects are gone.
Not only that, Backlund is showing quite a bit, but Coco, like always, like all good wrestler and his style from Samoan, is just coming up and whipping them down with a good old arm drag into the floor. I would have to say that Coco is just one fantastic wrestler. Why I keep saying it, because the man is awesome, especially when he can deadlift 810 pounds, Coach.
Well, that deadlift of 800 pounds brings up the fact that another man is known to lift over 800 pounds, and of course that is our new Southern Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, Lex Luger, who we hope to have on a program very shortly. And now I see an arm stretch being applied by Frankie Lane on Jim Backlund, who has been caught in there after a series of spin unders, and then taking a disadvantaged position, putting it up to an advantage position, because right now Frankie Lane better make himself aware of the fact that he is in a situation where he could have been pinned by his own hold.
Well, Frankie, being a St. Pete resident and also as Coco Samoa, both working out at the Gold's Gym there, always have that in common, that they do work out hard. They do have the ability to get in the ring and wrestle. And that's what it's all about. Coco also has an extraordinary way of coming in. I'd have to say, because of his background, he's got some kind of Oriental teaching in it.
Well, it appears that way, but the swiftness and suddenness, the rapier-like blows that he delivers, and then applies that single spin under there, almost into a wing-over position. Really, you know, there's hardly any way of defense against it, because you're trying to fight your balance against the chops that are coming in. And then that balance going in just sets you up for that spin under takedown. Strong high side headlock applied by Frankie Lane against a newcomer to United States Class Wrestling, Dino Manelli. And then Frankie threw in the hip, whipped him over, had him in trouble. Coco Samoa found himself on his back. However, quickly got himself to his feet, as all good wrestlers should, from the disadvantaged position, and brought Dino Morelli over to his partner, Frankie Lane. And the timing of Coco Samoa and Frankie Lane seems to be improving with their pairing up as tag team partners. When you get a little bit of trouble there, they seem to know to tag out a little quicker to the partner. They have more trust in him now. And Manelli showed some smarts there by tagging out to a fresher man, Jim Backlund, after he had found himself in quite a bit of trouble against the team of Lane and Samoa. A strong side headlock being applied by Jim Backlund. Got that near leg in there too close. I thought Frankie might pick it up and use it into a Turk position. However, he didn't. And Jim Backlund, unusual move, taking a shortcut there, Hector.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Cuban assassin there, being able to, you know, being such a good wrestler, being able to be a wrestler. Why does he have to go to such extremities as to pulling the hair? Well, you know, I'm really getting all hypered up for Tuesday night. I have to wrestle I would have to say I have to encounter the Cuban assassin in a terrorist street fight match. This has me in a little bit of a question mark what it's all about, but as I've understood now, that means that the referee has one stipulation that he can't do, and that's check us up and down, and that can bring about a whole new territory and a whole new perspective in this match.
Well, of course, that's all going to take place Tuesday night at the Spartan Sports Center right here in Tampa, where we had a tremendous crowd last night, on Tuesday night, to see that action take place. And I don't know, Hector the assassin, with all his illegal moves, with his vast knowledge of wrestling and the weight superiority, it's going to be a tough match for you there. And here, throwing his weight against Jim Backlund, Frankie Lane, who then tried to hop over the fallen Jim Backlund. However, Lane did not clear him correctly. I think if Backlund had come up sooner, we could have had a situation where Lane found himself in a lot more trouble. A high backdrop applied by Coco Samoa onto Jim Backlund, who feels the smarts on his back. And of course that takes the wind out of you, and when that wind is gone, a lot of times your thought processes are fouled up. And a hard arm drag whip into the corner by Frankie Lane against Jim Backlund, who leaves him in the corner. Backlund tagging out, bringing in Dino Morelli, who, while coming in, has supplied a chop into Frankie Lane. Lane retaliates, coming off the rope with a hard forearm, and I thought a pin against Manelli.
Well, something is always important about a wrestler, to be able to come back when you least expect it. and Coco Samoa taking the advantage of it. There we go, right over the top and using it on his headbutt. What a beautiful maneuver and a definitely good encounter.
A high-flying Samoan scoring a victory for the team of Frankie Lane and himself, Coco Samoa. Very impressive victory. A beautiful move employed by him. And when we return, we'll be talking.
And it is the Thumper rolling to one side. Hip lock takedown once again by the Thumper. Donovan has had his hands full. Into the ropes, the referee calling for the break. Scotty the Body not breaking, the referee tolling the count. Hip toss, and once again, a hip lock takedown into a head scissors by Frankie the Thumper. Thumper cinching down now, trying to cut off that air supply for Scotty the Body. Into the ropes, and the Thumper rolls away. A nice clean break. Well, you can hear quite a chant by the crowd. And they have become partisan in a hurry. The Thumper moves in against him and misses that time. And Scotty the Body got a little extra leverage there that the referee was not aware of. The referee was not aware of that kind of leverage. And with a drop kick, and now is really beginning to punish him. Hurdles him over that top.
Better watch out for that petition, because I think Roger and I may be the first two to sign it after having to put up with you out here so far today. In the ring right now, Frankie, the Thumper Lancaster. Oh, coming in right now, Sylvia and Action Jackson.
Wait just a minute. What we need to do, this looks like a Lance Russell look-alike, and you're about as stale as a 6-month-old donut. Let's get some real class out here. Let's get Primetime Brian Lee. Come on, Primetime.
Brian Lee.
Come on.
Boy,
move it over where
all
you
we
sit down.
need.
Was that beautiful?
It was beautiful. All you have to do is sit here and look good, boy.
Brian Lee. Roger.
Tell him, Primetime.
Can you believe it? I know.
Beautiful.
Roller's sitting there crying, and the good thing about it, I got $1,000 before we put him out.
Superb.
I like it.
I don't even want to sit next to this guy.
Brian, all you have to do for all these idiots out here, they don't have 10 teeth between all of them. All you have to do is sit here and just look good, and that's something you know how to do, Primetime.
You know, the stable is going to take this CWA over. There's one example, Jerry Lawler's out. Now the next time Jeff steps his little face in the ring, we'll break his pencil neck.
That won't be hard to do because he's a geek anyway. And it won't be long till Robert Fuller will own this territory. It's rightfully his anyway.
That's right. The stud stable's taking over. Jarrett's been on that mountain too long.
Hey, it looks to me like Frankie Lancaster is doing a pretty good job against Action Jackson up here out of the stud stable.
Pretty good job, but let him try it on prime time.
There's no way that Frankie Lancaster can beat Action Jackson. Surely you jest with that, Dave Brown. How about that move?
That move, yeah. Look at Frankie go. Action Jackson finds himself on the mat, and the armbar put on by Frankie Lancaster.
It's just a matter of time. The stable is in business, and I see you haven't learned anything, Dave Brown, since I've been away. You still got these negative comments. You don't recognize class. You don't recognize talent. You can't even call a wrestling match.
You recognize class, all right. And the class in that ring right now is the athlete Frankie Lancaster.
It'll be a pleasure.
Shut up while I'm talking. You stand there and hold the mic and do your job.
It's what he's trying to do.
That's what they do best. Stand there. You got another one. You got Twiddledee and Twiddledum behind us.
Can we do anything to get rid of these guys?
I've got a petition going, but like I say, these idiots in Memphis can't write.
See that? Look at Action Jackson.
Action Jackson is a machine. And you've got the beautiful Sylvia at ringside, the Bo Derek of professional wrestling.
Why does she have to have the stick, Gossett?
It doesn't matter what she has to have the stick for. You don't have to ask questions. You just do your little in-sit commentating job. Now, you notice that illegal move from Frankie Lancaster?
I didn't see an illegal move. The illegal move I saw was Action Jackson with his fist doubled up.
That was a forearm, not a fist. Do you want these glasses?
First forearm I've seen with 4 fingers and a thumb. Nice drop kick. Look at Sylvia up on the Sylvia's up on the apron. Now where's he going? Brian Lee.
Brian Lee goes. You don't ask questions.
Gossett, if he's going to commentate, he's supposed to sit over here at the table, not get up. Look at this. He trips up Frankie Lancaster.
He did not trip him. He fell.
What's he doing? He's not holding him down either, is he?
I don't see anything.
Oh, come on. Ridiculous display here once again from Ronnie P. Gossett.
A very good win and well-deserving for Action Jackson.
Brian Lee and Sylvia. Gentlemen assist. Look at this. Lancaster goes after Brian Lee.
Now, you tell me that's fair, Dave Brown.
It's fair when the guy has just gotten you beat by holding you from outside. Certainly is.
Teach him a lesson, Brian.
Tell me that's fair. 2 against 1.
Yeah, that's great sportsmanship, guys.
Tracy Smothers.
He deserved
John
it.
Paul. That'll get things even up a little bit
look
here.
At this. You think this is fair?
Yeah, I certainly do.
Lancaster.
Frankie Lancaster, the thumper, moving out against the Scorpion. A one-fall event. And Jimmy McGuire is the official in the ring right now. And so the Scorpion scores the first takedown. And the thumper is favoring that lumbar area of the back a little bit, Charlie.
Yes, he is. And once again, I want to just really congratulate the Southern boys. Steve Armstrong and Tracy Smothers on their victory and their gaining the... You know, it kind of last week, looking back on last week's program, it certainly did shake up the stud stable to see Mr. Cooley return.
Yep, it did indeed. And I'll tell you what, I can't think of a couple of guys that I would be happier seeing upset than Jimmy Golden, Robert Fuller, and Dutchman. Leapfrog. Lancaster drops to the canvas. Leapfrog once again. Catches this man coming in. Over in the air very nicely. Catches him now with a beautiful drop kick. Swing over takedown now by Lancaster has the Scorpion back to the canvas again.
That's Lancaster. There you see some great amateur moves. And, but don't be misled. Frankie the Thumper Lancaster.
And, of course, also a Vietnam veteran, I might point out. Side headlock by the Scorpion. Lancaster, reacting to that, pretty cool. Now fires him off, drops to the canvas once again, drops down again. And a perfectly executed drop toe hold, floats up on the body. But he came up a little bit too high there, Charlie, and the Scorpion was able to counter.
Scorpion was on his toes at that particular moment in the match. Also, once again, like to, Scorpion there was the dirty white boy.
Well, you know, the other interesting thing about that, too, that I like so much about Pritchard, because I asked him before we got underway today about and look at the thumper now. Vertical suplex coming off that second ring rope. Count of 3. Frankie the Thumper Lancaster scoring a victory here. Cooley moving in against Paul Lee. Vertical suplex coming off that second ring rope. Count of 3. Frankie the Thumper Lancaster scoring a victory here.
On him here. Don't know much about him. Out of parts unknown. Jerry Calhoun, the referee, stepping into the ring right now.
You know, they do a lot of talking, but talk is cheap, Dave Brown. You remember that.
Yeah,
Very
they can
cheap.
also back it up, let me tell you. Here comes Frankie the Thumper Lancaster out of Tampa, Florida. Frankie, boy, what an athlete this
He is. I don't think he's going to be able to get in the ring. Does somebody need to help him?
There he is. No trouble at all climbing into the ring as he goes against the Shadow here today. A nice-looking robe Frankie's got. Coat of many
He's
colors.
not wrestling the robe. He's wrestling the man.
He hands it out of the ring. Referee says, let's do it. The Shadow. Backed onto the ropes now. Oh, Frankie got him with an open hand.
That wasn't an open hand.
Certainly
Not
was.
at all.
He just let him know what he was up against.
Point of the elbow.
Lancaster picking him up. Now, picking him straight up. Dropping him over
Notice
the back.
the use of tights, Dave Brown.
There's a cover by Lancaster. 1, 2. Ooh, thought he had
Not
him
going to get
him
him on that kind of a pin. The Shadow's much too tough for that.
Shadow coming off the ropes. Nice backdrop by Frankie the Thumper Lancaster. Lancaster, former member of the stud stable, remember.
And they got rid of the trash.
They didn't get rid of him. He finally saw the light.
That's what he told you.
Oh, look at him go after the Shadow. Up on the rope. He flipped him off of there right straight down. Oh, here comes Hickerson, P.Y. Chuhai.
Now we'll see how tough Lancaster is.
We've got a disqualification. Lancaster presses P.Y. Chuhai down to the mat. Tojo Yamamoto waving his arm, no doubt calling in the rest of the Japanese team. And Lancaster wisely says, I ain't hanging around for that. He gets out of the ring. And boy, is that discretion the better part of valor. Is that does that work in this case? It certainly does.
Better word for it.
There,
couldn't stand the
P.Y.
heat.
Chuhai and the
Here's Frankie Lane. And his opponent to my left hails from Chicago, Illinois. Weighs in at 281 pounds. Presently the Southern Heavyweight Champion and the Florida TV Champion. Here he is, Lex Luger. One fall with a 10-minute time limit. The title is on the line.
Well, it appears that as our program goes on, the stars just get bigger and better as we come on. And a reminder that this match is for the Florida Television Championship. An opportunity, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity at the present time for young Frankie Lane, who I'm sure in the future will have matches of this caliber on down the line. But right now, his opportunity of a lifetime thus far to try and defeat Lex Luger, the present Florida Television Champion, as well as the present Southern Heavyweight Wrestling Champion.
You know, I'm sitting here chuckling. I had an opportunity to hear Jesse Barr come out here flashing a big wad of cash and trying to bribe this young athlete you see in the ring right now, Lex Luger. I can't believe that for $1,000 he's trying to bribe this man. I happen to be a good personal friend of Luger's, and I know he can't be bought with less than $5 or $6 grand. It's an insult.
Here, regardless of your statements, Mr. Humperdinck, and I have a lot of respect for you at the present time, as I always have. It appeared to me that Lex Luger wanted no parts of Jesse Bulldog Barr at this moment, and as far as the future, I can't tell.
$1,000 Luger carries around in his pocket is money, brother. He don't care about $1,000. He cares less about Jesse Barr.
There's such a thing as personal pride, my friend. When a man has a Southern title and a television title, he should be able to back his statement and his titles up to anyone at any time when he's given on a call challenge, such as he was just a few moments ago by Jesse Bulldog Barr.
It just shows me that Luger's got the class and the dignity that's befitting the champion, that he wouldn't even take Barr up on that offer. It's a chintzy offer to begin with.
It shows me that he may realize he has more on his hands than he wants to
We know
bargain
what side
for
of the
with
fence
Jesse
you're
Barr.
on, Coach. You know?
Well, nevertheless, as I said once before, the opportunity of a lifetime for young Frank Lane here, who's now caught in a hammerlock, a driving hammerlock by the Southern Heavyweight and Florida Television Champion, Lex Luger. And he's applying an awful lot of pressure with that 282-pound muscle body. And he has mentioned the fact that he might go up to 300 pounds, and that with, I think, less than 5% body fat. My gosh, what an animal we have.
That would be an awesome sight to see Luger at 300 pounds. He's big, he's huge now, but at 300 he would really be unstoppable. He would really keep those titles for just as long as he wanted to. He's a phenomenal athlete. Now Lane going with a switch, trying to get that hammerlock, but it's such a heavily muscled arm, he's not going to be able to get that above the 90 degrees. It's going to take to hurt this big guy. Luger going to ropes like every champion should. Again, the rules are there to be used.
I agree 100% with you on that, Sir Oliver. And as exciting as today has been, folks, when NWA or Championship Wrestling from Florida comes to your area, boy, get out and see those matches. They're even 10 times as exciting as will prove over at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach coming up in the very near future. Frankie Lane shot off with the rope backwards, catching a hard forearm from the TV champion Lex Luger. And when you feel those forearms in your back, it's like an anvil. What a man. And a full body slam possibly coming in. No, with the power that he bestows on his body, he uses it for a backdrop over his knee. And twice in succession, and Frank Lane must be feeling the brunt of the punishment, and most of the fight has to be taken out of him.
Luger kicking it into high gear now. He's going for the win, going for the pin. The man is thrown in the ropes, big backbreaker there. Brother, that hurts. When he wraps those forearms around you and squeezes, all that air comes out of the lungs. You can't draw a breath. Tremendously painful. And if you've ever had the wind knocked out of you, Coach, and I'm sure you have, you know what it feels like.
Strong frontal bear hug applied by Lex Luger, who then drove Frank Lane into the turnbuckles. And Frank Lane must be thinking right now, how can I survive just a few more minutes of this match? Get myself... Whoa, that's got to be one of the strongest full Nelsons ever applied on any human being. That's one of the first times I've ever seen him use that hold. And is this what you're doing, Sir Oliver?
That's it.
Wow,
He's going for the
power. 282 pounds of solid muscle. And thank goodness the referee stopped the match before we had a serious injury either into the shoulder or neck. Wow, that's got to be one of the... Whoa, that's got to be one of the strongest full Nelsons ever applied on any human being. That's one of the first times I've ever seen him use that hold. And is this what you're doing, Sir Oliver?
That's it.
Wow,
He's going for the now.
282 pounds of solid muscle. And thank goodness the referee stopped the match before we...
And Thumper, I'm sure, must also be having his eyes on that Florida Heavyweight Championship because he held it at one time and obviously would like to regain it.
Anybody's worth their weight in salt in the professional ranks is always looking for that first title, the next title, or to get the title back if he's lost it. And Lancaster is more than capable of doing it. And we saw there a nice leg trap to the outside, push back, and now he's got that left leg again tied up in Mr. Incognito. And as I said last week, Gordon, most wrestlers attack that left leg, left arm, thinking because of the fact that it's less coordinated slightly and with a little bit less strength in the right side. But again, I bring up the fact that Jack Briscoe and Lou Thez had the advantage. A lot of guys didn't realize they were left-handed. They attacked at the strong side, and the first thing they knew, it's all over.
Point well taken, and it is Mr. Incognito circling his man. Once again, they lock up collar and elbow. And it's Incognito getting the side headlock on Thumper Lancaster. Referee Mickey J. watching him carefully.
Lancaster, a well-developed and strong athlete. And there he demonstrates some of that strength right there. I'm surprised he didn't really come down on this guy and throw the hook into him, although I guess maybe, there's that deep half. Wow. Into a neck breaker, and Mr. Incognito is going to get a little lesson in pain and future arthritis movements.
Off the rope, drop kick that takes Incognito off his feet once again. And I don't believe he got up any higher than U.S. Steel did a couple
of years ago. That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. That guy, almost 400 pounds. He went up there. He reminded me of old Rocco and Argentina Polo. This guy, he was really in there. Two guys at one shot. And if the ropes hadn't been there, they'd still be gone.
Yeah, you're right. He would have sent them out into outer space somewhere, that's for sure. And the Thumper fires back. Say a special hi to my friend Robin Turner over at the Brevard County Fair. And incidentally, if you want up-to-date wrestling, you can catch it with Big Jim at ringside on WQIK in Jacksonville. WQIK. Tune in, Big Jim.
Deep in there, and then he set him down on that cable over there, and that's the end of that. Didn't even bother putting a hook in. He just lifted that near leg up, and that was it.
Lateral press and hooking that far leg is, was it the near leg or far leg?
Near leg.
Near leg.